The average woman is 1.6 meters or 5.24 feet tall, while the average man is 1.7 meters or 5.57 feet tall. The average adult weight is 136.7 pounds or 62 kilograms. But those are just the averages, and you're about to learn they are not at the higher end of the scale. From a 7.7-foot actor to a man over 8 feet, here are 15 largest humans to ever live. Biamba. Biamba from Mongolia forged a path for himself in sumo wrestling. He was a national junior champion in judo, Mongolian wrestling, and sambo, and was then recruited by a Japanese sumo grand champion at age 15 to join the world of professional sumo wrestling. By the time he was 16, he had made an impact by winning a divisional championship. At 18 years old, Biamba was the highest-ranking wrestler on his team and was destined for a life in the spotlight. However, he decided to leave the world of pro wrestling at age 20. By this stage, he was 6'1" and weighed 365 pounds. At that point, Biamba had many career highlights. He had been awarded 4 World Sumo Champion titles and many awards in his home country for being a top athlete.
So I wanna share for my experience.
For 8 consecutive years, he even aced the US Sumo Open champion from 2007 to 2014, with an overall record from 2007 to 2019 consisting of 110 wins and 7 losses. Unfortunately, at the age of 28, Biamba died in an LA hospital in February 2020 with COVID-19. He's survived by his wife and child. Dilip Singh Rana. If there's one man you don't want to get on the wrong side of, it's Dilip Singh Rana. Dilip stands at 7 feet 1 inch tall and is the tallest pro WWE wrestler in the world. If the name doesn't sound familiar to you and you follow WWE wrestling, then you may know him by his ring name, The Great Khali. Dilip is a pro wrestler, former powerlifter, and actor. He won Mr. India 2 years running in 1995 and 96 and is signed on with the Raw brand in WWE. He is known as the 21st tallest athlete in the world and used to be a police officer with the Punjab Police before he found his true calling. You would definitely have no problems with criminals if you had his body as a police officer. In WWE, Dilip has the titles of one-time World Heavyweight Champion and a one-time Slammy Award winner. However, you may also recognize him from 2 Bollywood films and 3 Hollywood films.
Dilip's in the movies, and the longest shot, he's from India.
Alone, Dilip is a force to be reckoned with, but pair him with someone like him and just wow. In 2001, Dilip joined New Japan Pro Wrestling with another man known as Giant Silver. Together, they had an average height of 7 feet 2.5 inches and a combined weight of over 800 pounds. Number 13. Lindsay Hayward. You don't necessarily have to be the tallest woman in the world to get a Guinness World Record. You just have to be the tallest person to do a particular thing. After Lindsay Hayward landed the leading role in the Warner Bros. Film R100, she became eligible for a Guinness World Record called Tallest Actress in a Leading Role. The previous record was 6 feet, and Lindsay was gonna smash it. She was measured at 3 different times during the day by a medical doctor, with the measurements taken in front of witnesses who had to provide written statements to prove they were true. She ended up with an average height from all 3 sessions of 6 feet 8 1/4 inches, which is a little over 204 centimeters. Lindsay was measured both standing up and lying down, so the Guinness World Records really did mean business. Now, she has a record to prove it. Her certificate says, the tallest actress in a leading role is Lindsay Hayward, USA, who measured 203.84 centimeters in Los Angeles, California, USA on the 21st of November, 2013. Number 12. Neil Fingleton. Neil Fingleton, who unfortunately passed away from heart failure at age 36 in 2017, was the tallest British-born man and tallest man in the European Union. He measured 7 feet 7.56 inches and was on the list of the tallest 25 men in the world. Guinness World Records confirmed his height in 2007, taking over from Christopher Greener, who was 7 feet 6 1/4 inches. Neil was an English actor and basketball player and came from a family of tall people. His sister is 6 feet 3 inches, and his brother is 6 feet 8 inches. His mother and father were also 6 feet, while his great-grandfather was 6 feet 8 inches. Neil said his height took off around age 11, and he reached 7 feet 5 inches by the time he was 16. He finally stopped growing at 18. Neil has appeared in 2 British documentaries, Britain's Tallest Man and Superhuman Giants, and he's also been in the TV series Game of Thrones as Mag the Mighty, X-Men First Class, Avengers Age of Ultron, 47 Ronin, Jupiter Ascending, and Doctor Who. Number 11. Yao Defen. The Guinness World Records once recognized Yao Defen as being the world's tallest living woman. She was 7 feet 7 inches tall and came from the Anhui province of Shachang County in China. The unfortunate reason for her gigantism was that she had a tumor in her pituitary gland. Yao was born to poor farmers in Shachang County. She was born normally weighing 6.2 pounds, but grew to 6 feet 2 inches tall by the time she was 11 years old. By the time she was 15, she stood at 6 feet 9 inches tall. Her story started to spread after she saw a doctor at 15 years old about an illness. The doctors correctly diagnosed her illness, but her family was unable to pay the 4,000 won for the surgery. The doctors correctly diagnosed her illness, but her family was unable to pay the 4,000 yuan for the surgery, which would have been a little over $600, but about $1,000 adjusted for inflation. As a result, they didn't help her. Her height meant that many companies wanted to train her to be a sports star, but she was too weak. Eventually, Yao underwent surgery in a hospital in Guangdong to remove the tumor in 2002. She later died from an unspecified ailment in 2012 at age 40. Number 10. Sandy Allen. Sandra Allen, known to many as Sandy, was an American woman once recognized as the tallest woman in the world. She was 7 feet 7 inches tall and held the title for 16 years. Like many other people with gigantism, her height was caused by a tumor in her pituitary gland, which allowed growth hormones to be released uncontrollably. Sandy underwent surgery for the condition at age 22. Otherwise, the tumor would have continued to grow, and she would have suffered several medical issues. Sandy was well known throughout the world, to the point where a New Zealand band called Split Enz wrote a song about her titled Hello, Sandy Allen. Sandy had to use a wheelchair in later years of her life as her back and legs couldn't support her tall stature. She was also bedridden due to disease, which caused her muscles to atrophy. Sandy spent the last years of her life in Shelbyville, Indiana, and died in 2008. She suffered from a blood infection, type 2 diabetes, breathing issues, and kidney failure. She was just 53 years old. Number 9. Robert Pershing Wadlow. Robert Pershing Wadlow, born in 1918 and hailing from St. Louis, Missouri, was the tallest person in recorded history. He was called the Giant of Illinois and Alton Giant and measured 8 feet 11.1 inches tall. He also weighed a whopping 439 pounds. His incredible height was caused by hypertrophy of his pituitary gland, and even when he died at age 22, he was still growing till the day he died. Robert was the oldest of 5 children and grew taller than his dad by 8 years old. A special desk had to be made for him in elementary school, and he graduated from Alton High School measuring 8 feet 4 inches tall. When Robert walked, he had to use leg braces as he had minimal feeling in his legs and feet. However, he never used a wheelchair. He shot to fame when he went on a U.S. tour in 1936 with the Ringling Brothers Circus. He dressed in his everyday clothes and never performed in the sideshow. He also refused to wear tails and a top hat as requested by the circus. In 1940, a faulty brace started irritating his ankle, which led to an infection. Even though he received a blood transfusion and surgery, his autoimmune disorder caused complications, and he died in his sleep. Number 8. Igor Vovkavinsky. Ukrainian-American law student, actor, and interviewee Igor Vovkavinsky is currently the tallest person living in the U.S. He is 7 feet 8/13 of an inch tall and weighs 380 pounds. Igor is from the Ukraine but moved to Rochester, Minnesota at the age of 7 in 1989 so that he could be treated at the Mayo Clinic. At age 7, he was about 6 feet tall. His height was linked to a tumor pressing on his pituitary gland, and he was also undergoing treatment for a heart condition. In recent years, Igor has made a name for himself in other ways. He's been in both films and commercials, with one of his most notable appearances being in the 2011 film Hall Pass. He was the guy wearing the shirt that said, "World's biggest Obama supporter." I mean, he wasn't wrong, was he? In 2013, Igor also performed at the Eurovision Song Contest 2013 with Zlata Ognovich, a Ukrainian singer and former politician. You can also keep up to date with what's happening in Igor's life on YouTube, where he has an account. Number 7. Sun Mingming. In China, the average male stands at 5 feet 7.5 inches tall. With that in mind, you'd be shocked if you ever saw Sun Mingming in person. He stands at 7 feet 9 inches tall, and this was confirmed by the Guinness World Records. Sun was born in 1983 in Bayan County, China, and he is a pro basketball player and actor. He also holds the title of the tallest professional basketball player in the world. Sun is one of 3 children and didn't start playing basketball until he was 15 years old. Most pro basketball players begin much younger. He has had a long and successful career in basketball, having played in college before joining American minor league teams and some Chinese teams like the Beijing Ducks. In 2005, he was diagnosed with a benign tumor on his pituitary gland, leaving him with medical bills over $100,000. Thanks to a fundraiser started by his sports agent, his bills were covered and he was able to have his tumor removed. He married Su Yan in 2013, and they're classed as the tallest living married couple by the Guinness World Records, with a combined height of 13 feet 10.72 inches. Number 6. Sultan Kosin. Sultan Kosin is a Turkish farmer who has held the title with the Guinness World Records of being the tallest living male at 8 feet 2.82 inches tall. He also has the world's largest hands at 10 7/8 of an inch and the second largest feet at 14 inches. His growth comes from acromegaly and gigantism, resulting from a pituitary gland tumor. As a result, he requires crutches to walk. Sultan comes from Mardin in southeast Turkey, and his height stopped him from completing his education. After leaving school, he took up part-time work as a farmer. Even though Sultan has some health challenges, he said there are some advantages to his height. For example, he can see a great distance due to being higher up than other people, and he can also hang curtains and change light bulbs with ease. However, he finds it difficult to get clothes to fit his arms and legs, and he can't fit into an average vehicle comfortably. Sultan underwent treatment for his tumor in 2010 and has received medication to control his growth hormone. 4 years later, he joined the Magic Circus of Samoa and took part in several shows worldwide. Number 5. Manny Yarborough. Manny Yarborough, born Emmanuel Yarborough, was an American martial artist, football player, actor, and pro wrestler. While he was known for his career as an amateur sumo wrestler, Manny also made a name for himself as the heaviest living athlete up until his death at age 51 in 2015. Manny was 6 feet 8 inches tall and weighed a hefty 600 pounds. This served him well when he started competing in amateur sumo in 1992. He won silver in the Sumo World Championships in 1992, bronze the following year, and silver again the year after. Just a few years later, he reached his peak weight of 828 pounds, which is what earned him the Guinness World Record. He soon became one of the most famous sumo wrestlers outside of Japan. Now, as you probably know, weighing 828 pounds is not healthy. Manny started trying to lose weight in 2007 while attempting to participate in the U.S. Olympic Judo Tryouts and Sumo World Championship. Manny died on December 21st, 2015 from a heart attack. According to his manager, he had battled with a food addiction his entire life and had always said he was a prisoner in his own body. He was seeing a specialist to change his ways, but it didn't come soon enough. Number 4. Cixun Bao. Cixun Bao, who is also called Cixun, is a Chinese herdsman from Inner Mongolia who suffers from rheumatism. The Guinness World Records has recognized him as one of the tallest living men in the world. He was once the world's tallest man before Sultan Kosin overtook him. Cixun said that he was of an average height until he was around 16 years old. Then he grew and grew until he eventually measured 7 feet 8 15/16 of an inch tall. After serving in the People's Liberation Army for 3 years, he returned to Mongolia to live with his mother and worked in a hospital for several months. In 2005, he received recognition for being the tallest man in the world, and he has certainly used his powers for good. At the end of 2006, vets at a local clinic asked for help removing plastic from 2 dolphins' stomachs that were causing a loss of appetite and depression. The vets had been unable to remove the plastic, so Si Shun used his 1.06-meter-long arms to reach into their stomachs and take care of it for them. He married Jia Shujuan in 2007, and their son was born in 2008. Si Shun has also appeared on an episode of The Amazing Race, taking on the role as one of the pit stop greeters. Number 3. Sajjad Garibi. Sajjad Garibi, who was born in 1991, is a fake bodybuilder from Khuzestan, Awaz. He's also a weightlifter and MMA practitioner. Sajjad weighs 390 pounds and stands at 6 feet 2 inches tall. These may not seem like notable features given how many other large humans there are, but there's something quite quirky about Sajjad. He was exposed on YouTube for having photoshopped his images to make him look like a fit bodybuilder. Instead, according to some sources, Sajjad is quite fat with very little muscle. However, he is still called Persian Hercules and the Iranian Hulk as his nicknames. Sajjad is also quite active on social media, with about 500,000 followers and an Instagram account jam-packed with pictures. UFC star Brian Ortega apparently challenged Sajjad to appear in the MMA ring, and he accepted. Ortega said he would smash the Iranian Hulk, even though he weighed about 240 pounds less than him. Previously, he had already accepted a match against Martin Ford in Britain, but the deal was cancelled. Sajjad has also been reported as saying he would fight against ISIS in Syria, stating that he is a defender of his country. Number 2. Andre the Giant. Andre Rene Roussimoff, known by his ring name of Andre the Giant, was a French pro wrestler and actor born in 1946. He died at age 46 in 1993 of congestive heart failure in a Paris hotel after traveling to Paris to attend his dad's funeral. Andre had gigantism from excessive growth hormone, which caused acromegaly, a disorder that causes enlarged feet, hands, and other features. He stood at 7 feet 4 inches tall, weighed about 520 pounds, and people used to call him the 8th wonder of the world.
I'm so happy to come back in Florida to see all my friends.
Aside from being tall, he was pretty handy in the ring. He was prominent in WWE from 1973 to 1991 and made his debut in 1966. Outside of the ring, he appeared in many films from 1967 to 1994, such as Trading Mom as the Circus Giant, The Princess Bride, The Greatest American Hero, The Fall Guy, and music video The Goonies Are Good Enough. Andre was also mentioned in the Guinness World Records as being the highest paid wrestler in history at that time, having earned $400,000 in a year in the early 1970s. Number 1. Vikas Sapal. Before his death in 2007 at age 21, Vikas Sapal from Haryana, India, was the tallest man in India. In 2004, he was reported as being 8 feet 3 inches tall and still growing past his late teens. However, the Guinness World Records have strict verification criteria, so he was never measured for the title of being the world's tallest living man. However, his hands were supposedly 13 inches long, and his feet were 19 inches long. Photographs of him appear to be proportionate, but it's not hard to spot him. He towers above everyone else, with most men's heads up to his breast pocket. Vikas acted in a Bollywood movie called Rang de Basanti, which was an Indian Hindi-language drama film produced in 2006. However, he didn't have a named role. Unfortunately, when Vikas was undergoing an operation in Delhi, India for a brain tumor, it didn't go to plan and he ended up dying on June 30th, 2007. What's interesting to note is that on his memorials page online, it states that his body was lost or destroyed.